There are some endings that feel complete. And then there are endings that feel wrong, not angry, wrong, not dramatic wrong, just quietly confusing. That's exactly how Tiffany Haddish described the end of her relationship with Common. She compared it to something simple, something almost childlike but painfully accurate. She said it felt like being a kid on a playdate. You're playing, you're laughing, everything feels good. Time disappears because you're happy. And then, suddenly, without warning, the fun stops. You turn around to keep playing, but the other kid is gone. You look around confused, asking, where did they go? Then you see them in the distance being carried away by their mom, waving goodbye. And you're left standing there thinking, wait, we were just having fun. Why did it end? Why did it stop? That's how Tiffany says it felt with Common. No big argument, no dramatic explosion, just gone. And that confusion, that unfinished feelings, where all of this really begins. Because for Tiffany Haddish, the breakup wasn't just about losing a relationship. It was about losing a future she thought was real, when rumors turned personal fast. Forward to now, and Tiffany Haddish is no longer staying quiet. The reason is Jennifer Hudson. Once news broke that Jennifer Hudson and Common were officially a couple, the internet lit up. But that wasn't the part that seemed to bother Tiffany the most. What really set things off were the whispers. Rumors that Common, who once claimed he didn't want marriage or children, was now openly talking about both. Rumors that Jennifer Hudson might even be pregnant. Rumors that wedding bells weren't just possible, but likely, and suddenly the story didn't add up anymore. According to Tiffany, when she was with Common, the message was clear: no rush, no marriage talk, no kids anytime soon. But now, he's publicly saying Jennifer Hudson is the kind of woman he'd marry. He's speaking openly about family. He's sounding like a man ready to settle down. So Tiffany asked the question everyone else was thinking, but few were brave enough to say out loud. Was he honest with her, or was he just not honest enough? Was Tiffany lied to? This is where the drama shifts from emotional to explosive. Tiffany Haddish has implied multiple times that Common may not have been truthful during their relationship. She suggests that while he told her he wasn't interested in marriage or kids, that may not have been the full truth. And if that's the case, then this isn't just about jealousy, it's about betrayal. Because there's a big difference between I don't want these things ever and I don't want these things with you. That distinction matters. And for someone who was emotionally invested, who believed in the relationship, who imagined a future at cuts deep. Which leads to the question dividing fans everywhere. Is Tiffany struggling to move on? Or is she reacting to a truth that only became clear after the damage was already done? Rewinding the story, how Tiffany and Common began to understand why this situation feels so raw. You have to go back to the beginning. Tiffany Haddish and Common first connected in 2019 while working together on the film The Kitchen. What started as on-screen chemistry quickly became something real behind the scenes. Fans loved them. They were unexpected but exciting. Different but somehow balanced. Tiffany was open about how special the relationship felt. In interviews, she spoke about feeling seen, respected, and emotionally safe. She described Common as the best relationship she had ever been in. For someone like Tiffany, who has spoken openly about past struggles, trauma, and growth that meant everything. But behind the smiles and red carpets, the foundation wasn't as solid as it appeared, cracks beneath the surface as the relationship progressed. Differences began to surface. Tiffany has always been upfront about what she wants. Stability, commitment, marriage, children. She wasn't playing games. She wasn't keeping things vague. Common, on the other hand, seemed hesitant. Reports started circulating that he wasn't ready for marriage, that starting a family wasn't something he wanted anytime soon. And while Tiffany was emotionally ill, Common appeared cautious, reserved, distant. It was as if one person was building a future while the other was keeping an exit open. And eventually that imbalance caught up to them. In late 2021, The relationship ended, but it didn't end cleanly. The fallout after, the breakup. Tiffany didn't hide her disappointment. She hinted publicly that Common hadn't been fully honest about why things ended. She suggested she was blindsided, that she gave her whole heart, while he was already pulling away. Some fans even speculated there may have been overlap and other connection forming before the relationship officially ended. Whether true or not, the perception stuck, and Common's reputation took a hit. People began pointing out a pattern: charming beginnings, deep connections. But resistance when things turned serious. Tiffany became the face of heartbreak, and many fans rallied behind her. But just when it seemed like she was beginning to heal, Jennifer Hudson entered the picture. In 2022, rumors started swirling. Common and Jennifer Hudson had reconnected while working on the film Breathe. At first, it was subtle, quiet, almost cautious. But chemistry doesn't stay hidden for long. Soon, they were seen together at events, laughing, comfortable. This time, Tomon wasn't holding back. "If I ever get married." In interviews, Common spoke about Jennifer Hudson with a tone the public hadn't heard before. He didn't dodge questions about commitment. He didn't change the subject when marriage came up. Instead, he said something that stunned fans: "If I ever get married, it'll be to her." That one sentence changed everything, because this was the same man who, just a short time ago, claimed marriage wasn't on his radar. Fans immediately compared how he spoke about Jennifer to how he spoke about Tiffany, and the contrast was impossible. To ignore was Common different now? Or was Jennifer simply the woman who made him want more? Tiffany responds without naming names. Tiffany Haddish did not take this quietly. She never directly said Jennifer Hudson's name, but she didn't have to. In interviews, Tiffany spoke about betrayal, about people who smile in your face and then take what's yours, about friends who don't act like friends. Fans connected the dots quickly. Then came social media. Tiffany began liking posts that appeared to criticize Jennifer and Common's relationship. One post read, "Some people will never be happy because they're living someone else's life." The timing raised eyebrows, and the internet exploded. Fans divided. Social media quickly split into two camps. One side said Tiffany had every right to feel hurt, especially if there's emotional overlap or dishonesty involved. The other side wasn't so sympathetic. Comments flooded in, telling her to let it go, to move on, to stop reopening old wounds. Some said she looked bitter. Others said heartbreak doesn't have a timeline. And that's where this story becomes bigger than celebrity gossip. Because at its core, this isn't really about Jennifer Hudson. It's about watching someone else receive the life you thought you were building. What Jennifer represents for Tiffany. Jennifer Hudson isn't just Common's new partner. She represents the marriage Tiffany wanted, the family Tiffany hoped for, the commitment Tiffany believed was possible. Seeing Common offer that to someone else feels like being replaced, not just as a partner, but as a future. And that kind of pain doesn't disappear just because time passes. Meanwhile, Common and Jennifer move forward while Tiffany processes her emotions publicly. Jennifer and Common appear unbothered. They continue attending events together. They speak warmly about each other. It looks stable, intentional, serious. Then came the newest rumor. Pregnancy and proposal talk. Speculation began after Jennifer Hudson was seen wearing loose-fitting outfits. Insiders hinted that the couple was closer than ever. Talk of a possible pregnancy spread quickly. So did whispers of a proposal. Common added fuel to the fire when he said, "With Jennifer, I finally feel like I found someone who matches my energy and my heart." The other side. Why some fans defend Tiffany? Everyone turned against her. Another group of fans saw something different. They saw a woman processing betrayal in real time. They saw someone grappling with the realization that what she was told didn't match what she was now witnessing. And if Tiffany's claims are even partially true, there was emotional overlap. Or if Common already had Jennifer in mind while still with Tiffany, then her reaction makes sense. One fan summed it up perfectly. If he was already opening the door for someone else while still in a relationship, she has every right to feel hurt. This perspective reframed the conversation. Suddenly, it wasn't about jealousy. It was about honesty when closure never comes. One of the hardest things about heartbreak is lack of closure, not knowing when things changed, why things changed, or whether the truth you were given was real. Tiffany has spoken openly about how deeply invested she was in her relationship with Common. She believed he could be the one. She imagined a future. She committed emotionally. So watching him offer marriage, family, and devotion to someone else feels like discovering you were living a different version of the story than your partner. That realization can shake your sense of self. And healing doesn't always look quiet. Is this about Jennifer or about loss? As the dust settles, one truth becomes clearer. This situation is less about Jennifer Hudson as a person and more about what she represents. Jennifer symbolizes the future Tiffany wanted, the commitment Tiffany believed was possible, the version of Common she hoped to see. That's why this hurts, not because Jennifer won, but because Tiffany lost something she thought was real, and grief doesn't disappear just because someone else looks happy. Meanwhile, Common and Jennifer keep building while Tiffany's emotions play out publicly. Common and Jennifer appear firmly focused on the future. They continue to show up together. They speak about each other with certainty. They project stability. For fans, this contrast is striking. One person processing pain. To people planning a future, it raises uncomfortable questions about timing, growth, and whether people truly change or simply choose differently. The bigger conversation, self-worth, and letting go beyond celebrity drama. This story sparked a larger discussion online about self-worth, about knowing when to walk away, about choosing yourself when love doesn't choose you back. Relationship experts weighed in, reminding audiences that moving on isn't about pretending the past didn't matter. It's about deciding that your peace matters more than unresolved. Pain. One widely shared quote read, "Letting go doesn't mean you lost. It means you stopped bleeding." And for many, watching Tiffany, that message felt relevant. A turning point waiting to happen. Haddish has always been known for her resilience, humor, and honesty. Fans who support her believe this moment could become a turning point. Instead of being remembered as the ex, she has the opportunity to reclaim her narrative. By choosing growth over bitterness, by channeling pain into power, by rediscovering joy outside of someone else's shadow. Heartbreak, as painful as it is, often forces clarity, and clarity leads to transformation. Final reflection, who's right? So where does that leave us? Is Tiffany justified in her anger? Or is she holding on to something that no longer serves her? The truth may be uncomfortable, but it's also human. You can be hurt and need to heal. You can feel betrayed and still need to let go. Both can exist at the same time. As Common and Jennifer move forward, the world watches to see what Tiffany does next, because she owes anyone an explanation. But because her next step will define how this chapter truly ends. Call to action, YouTube ready ending. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think Tiffany Haddish has a right to feel upset after everything that's happened? Or do you think it's time for her to close this chapter and fully move on? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to check out our latest videos for more deep dives into celebrity relationships, hidden truths, and the stories behind the headlines. On NXT, some point, every breakup stops being about a single person and starts being about patterns. That's where this story quietly shifts. Because once fans stepped back from the emotion, the tears, and the social media tension, a different conversation began forming, one that didn't focus only on Tiffany Haddish or Jennifer Hudson, but on Common himself. And that conversation asked a difficult question. Is this really about one relationship, or is it about a pattern that keeps repeating? Common's relationship history under the microscope. Long before Tiffany Haddish or Jennifer Hudson entered the picture, Common was already known for his high-profile romances. Talented women, successful women, women who spoke openly about love, growth, and commitment. Yet time and time again, those relationships seemed to end the same way. Deep connection at first, emotional intimacy, then hesitation when things turned serious for years. Common was seen as thoughtful, spiritual, introspective, but also non-committal. Fans often described him as a man who loved the idea of love, but struggled with the responsibility that came with permanence. That reputation didn't come from one breakup, it came from repetition, which is why Tiffany's reaction hit such a nerve. Why this time feels different. What makes Jennifer Hudson's relationship with Common stand out isn't just that it's public, it's that it contradicts everything he previously claimed with Tiffany. Marriage was not the focus. Children were not the plan. Commitment was not the priority. With Jennifer, suddenly, the language changed. He spoke about destiny, about alignment, about seeing forever, and when someone changes their story that dramatically, people start asking uncomfortable questions, not about growth, but about truth, growth, or convenience. There's a popular phrase people use to defend situations like this: people change. And that can be true. But there's another truth that often goes unspoken. Sometimes people don't change. They just choose differently when the conditions feel safer. Some fans believe Jennifer Hudson represents a kind of emotional safety Common hadn't experienced before. It's grounded, established, calm, less chaotic in the public eye. Others argue that Tiffany, who is loud, honest, and emotionally open, forced him to confront parts of himself he wasn't ready to face. And instead of growing within the relationship, he exited it. That interpretation doesn't make him evil, but it does make the hurt, understandable emotional labor, and uneven investment one of the most painful realizations in any relationship is discovering that you were more invested than the other person. Tiffany has made it clear directly and indirectly that she was emotionally in. She envisioned a future. She saw permanence. Common, however, seemed to treat the relationship as something meaningful, but temporary. That imbalance creates a specific kind of pain, not heartbreak alone, but humiliation. The feeling that you built something real with someone who was quietly preparing to walk away. That's not easy to heal from, especially when the other person appears to give someone else everything you were told wasn't possible. Why? Public breakups hurt more. Other layer to this story is visibility. Most people experience heartbreak privately. Tiffany didn't have that luxury. Every step of her healing process unfolded under a microscope. Every emotion was interpreted as weakness, bitterness, or jealousy. But grief doesn't disappear just because it makes others uncomfortable, and public pressure often forces people to suppress emotions before they're ready, leading to delayed healing instead of real closure. Jennifer Hudson's role, fair or not, it's important to say this clearly. Jennifer Hudson has not publicly attacked Tiffany. She has not fueled the drama. She has not spoken negatively about the past. Yet she remains central to the narrative. Not because of anything done, but because of what she represents to many women watching this unfold. Jennifer embodies a painful reality. Someone else receiving the reward for emotional work you helped build. Whether that perception is fair or not, it resonates deeply. And it's why this story extends beyond celebrity gossip into something much more relatable. Accountability without villains. One of the most mature takes emerging from this situation is the idea that no one has to be a villain for someone to be hurt. Common can genuinely love Jennifer. Jennifer can be innocent in the timeline. Tiffany can still be deeply wounded. All three things can exist at once, but acknowledging pain doesn't mean assigning blame. It means recognizing impact, and the impact here is undeniable. The question Tiffany must answer as time moves forward The spotlight slowly shifts away from Common and Jennifer Rand back onto Tiffany. Not because she owes anyone silence, but because her next move will determine how this chapter defines her. She faces a difficult choice. Continue reacting to a story she no longer controls, or step away and reclaim her power. That decision isn't about pride, it's about peace. When letting go becomes strength many fans who once defended, Tiffany now hope to see her redirect her energy, not because she was wrong to feel hurt, but because she deserves more than staying emotionally tied to someone who has already moved on. Letting go isn't surrender, it's self-respect. And sometimes the strongest response isn't saying more, it's choosing yourself. Where this leaves the story at this stage, the narrative is no longer about who Common loves. It's about emotional honesty, timing, maturity, and what happens when two people want different futures. Tiffany's story doesn't end with Common, and Jennifer's story doesn't begin with him. What matters now is how each person carries themselves forward.